Palo Alto Networks Certified Network Security Engineer Exam PCNSE online dumps are available here for studying. 1. Where is Palo Alto Networks device telemetry data stored on a firewall with the device certificate installed? A. On Palo Alto Networks update servers, BM600 log collectors, C. Cortex data lake, D. Panorama. 2. PBF can address which two scenarios? Choose 2. A. Routing FTP to a backup ISP link to save bandwidth on the primary ISP link. B. Providing application connectivity the primary circuit fails. C. Enabling the firewall to bypass Layer 7 inspection. D. Forwarding all traffic by using source port 78249 to a specific egress interface. 3. A company is deploying user ID in their network. The firewall team needs to have the ability to see and choose from a list of usernames and user groups directly inside the Panorama policies when creating new security rules. How can this be achieved? A. By configuring data redistribution client in Panorama, data redistribution. B. By configuring user ID group mapping in Panorama, user identification. C. By configuring user ID source device in Panorama, managed devices. D. By configuring master device in Panorama, device groups. 4. 4 configuration choices are listed, and each could be used to block access to a specific URL. If you configured each choice to block the same URL, then which choice would be evaluated last in the processing order to block access to the URL? A. Custom URL category in URL filtering profile. B. EDL in URL filtering profile. C. PAN-DB URL category in URL filtering profile. D. Custom URL category in security policy rule. 5. What would allow a network security administrator to authenticate and identify a user with a new BYOD-type device that is not joined to the corporate domain? A. An authentication policy with unknown selected in the source user field. B. An authentication policy with known user selected in the source user field. C. A security policy with known user selected in the source user field. D. A security policy with unknown selected in the source user field. 6. An administrator has a Palo Alto Networks NGFW. All security subscriptions and decryption are enabled and the system is running close to its resource limits. Knowing that using decryption can be resource-intensive, how can the administrator reduce the load on the firewall? A. Use RSA instead of ECDSA for traffic that isn't sensitive or high priority. B. Use the highest TLS protocol version to maximize security. C. Use ECDSA instead of RSA for traffic that isn't sensitive or high priority. D. Use SSL forward proxy instead of SSL inbound inspection for decryption. 7. Which function does the HA4 interface provide when implementing a firewall cluster which contains firewalls configured as active-passive pairs? A. Perform packet forwarding to the active-passive peer during session setup and asymmetric traffic flow. B. Perform synchronization of routes, IPsec security associations, and user ID information. C. Perform session cache synchronization for all HA cluster members with the same cluster ID. D. Perform synchronization of sessions, forwarding tables, and IPsec security associations between firewalls in an HA pair. 8. Which rule type controls end-user SSL traffic to external websites? A. SSL outbound proxyless inspection, B. SSL forward proxy, C. SSH proxy, D. SSL inbound inspection. 9. An administrator plans to deploy 15 firewalls to act as GlobalProtect gateways around the world. Panorama will manage the firewalls. The firewalls will provide access to mobile users and act as edge locations to on-premises infrastructure. The administrator wants to scale the configuration out quickly and wants all of the firewalls to use the same template configuration. Which two solutions can the administrator use to scale this configuration? Choose two. A. Collector groups. B. Template stacks. C. Virtual systems. D. Variables. 10. An administrator needs to evaluate a recent policy change that was committed and pushed to a firewall device group. How should the administrator identify the configuration changes? A. Click Preview Changes under Push Scope. B. Use Test Policy Match to review the policies in Panorama. C. Review the configuration logs on the Monitor tab. D. Context switch to the affected firewall and use the Configuration Audit tool.